You are making the world a better place by listening to the Joy of Living podcast. This is your guide to achieving a more purposeful, powerful, and positive life. Join Barry Shore in unlocking the best version of you and becoming happier, healthier, and wealthier. And now, here's your ambassador of joy, Barry Shore.
Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved immortal beings, and good-looking people. Remember, you're good-looking because you're always looking for and finding the good. You found good in abundance because you've conscientiously tuned into the joy of living with your humble host, Barry Shore, the ambassador of joy. Notice I didn't say the ambassador of joy. The ambassador of joy, because that's what we talk about. That's what we live here on this podcast. That's why you tuned in, and you're bringing your family and friends. That's why we have over 500,000 people listening right now. By the time we bring on our amazing, wonderful, innovative guest, wonderful Cris, it'll be probably 520, 530,000 people. And when we ask you to just share this with 5 people, that's it. You want to share with 50 or 100, it's up to you, but at least 5 so we can touch a few million people around the world. And really, the reason you're here is because you know that on this show, we discuss the 3 fundamentals of life. And when you live these 3 fundamentals, the result is you'll be happier, healthier, and wealthier. Who doesn't want that? The 3 fundamentals, of course, number 1, life, your life has purpose. And when you lead a purpose-driven life, number 2 happens. Now, in this case, good number 2, you go mad. Now, MAD is a wonderful acronym. It stands for make a difference. Lead a purpose-driven life, you make a difference in the world. And the 3rd fundamental is to uncover the power and the secrets of everyday words and terms. Simple example, this show is carried over the internet. Ask anybody what www stands for. Invariably, it has to do with the internet. And factually speaking, it's correct. However, in our world, the world of the positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant, www stands for what a wonderful world. And what is a word, right? WHATA. And of course, a big thank you, a tip of the hat to Satchmo, Louis Armstrong, for enabling that song, What a Wonderful World, to go viral and touch not just tens of millions or hundreds of millions, but billions of people around the planet. And whenever you hear the opening bars of What a Wonderful World, what do you do right away? You can't help it. You smile. Now, smile is one of the most important words you can ever internalize, utilize, and leverage in your life, because smile stands for seeing miracles in life every day. That's right, seeing miracles in life every day. Now, I'm privileged to speak to millions of people around the world on the podcast every month, and I do in-person events as well. Recently, I spoke to a group of 1,127 people. I'm telling the story about Barry Shore and about seeing miracles in life every day. Some people raise their hands and say, hey, Barry Shore, I've been up for hours where I haven't seen any miracles. And I asked them, are you here? Can you hear? Can you stand still? I can't do that. Can you walk? I can barely do that. Do you have water, drink, do you have food, do you have family, place, have a place to sleep, you have family or friends? Every single one of those is a miracle. And this proof, simple proof. 1 million people didn't get out of bed this morning. You know why? They died. By definition, if you're watching or you're listening, you didn't. Therefore, you have an obligation to live life to the full, to live exuberantly. Now, let me tell you a quick story before we bring on amazing Cris. It's about me. Imagine, if you can, I'm standing up in the morning, completely healthy and hearty, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. And that evening, I'm in the hospital, totally, completely paralyzed by neck down. And it wasn't from an automobile accident. It wasn't a spinal injury. It was a rare disease, which I never heard of the day before, took over my body and rendered me what's called quadriplegic. Nothing in the body moved. I could only communicate by blinking my eyes. I was 144 days in the hospital. I was in a hospital bed in my own home for 2 years. I couldn't move. I was in a wheelchair for 4 years. I had braces on both my legs, my hips, my ankles. That was progress. Thank God today I'm able to be vertical and ambulatory with the help of a 7-foot walking wand. So I'm a triped, not a biped. Can't walk up a stair by myself. Can't walk up a curb by myself. I help 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. However, you hear my voice. Positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant. All because of one word. One word, smile. Seeing miracles in life every day. But I got to tell you a quick story. My 8-year-old niece comes over to me a few weeks ago and says, Uncle Barry, can we spell smile S-M-I-E-L? And I thought about it. Smile, sounds the same. Why not? I asked her how come. She says, because then it would stand for seeing miracles in everyday life. From the mouth of an 8-year-old. What was she doing? She was creating the kind of world she wants to live in. Now, CREATE is a fabulous acronym that stands for causing rethinking, enabling all to excel. We're going to do rethinking today with Cris. It's amazing. And really what we're talking about is a slight shift in perspective. Now, I got to tell you, I've been working with people for more than 4.5 decades. People come to me and they're on paper very successful. Everything's going wonderfully well. And then they tell me about life. And what they've done is they drop the F in shift and the other stuff happens. So you got to keep your F's in place. You want to shift your perspective just a little bit. And then you can internalize, utilize, and leverage the 6 most important words you'll ever learn. And these are choice, not chance, determines your destiny. How you choose to respond to any given situation will determine your path in life and your trajectory. Now, before we bring on amazing Cris, I want to warn everybody, and Cris included, that I do use a lot of 4-letter words. I even use the 4-letter FU word, and I do it because of the shock value, and it's fun. Now, of course, the 4-letter words that we use, because we live in the world of a positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant, are love, life, hope, play, pray, free, gift, swim. And the 4-letter FU word is fun. That's right, F-U, capital N, capital N. So after the show, you see your family and friends. I want you to point your finger, have a twinkle in your eye, smile and say, F-U, everybody. Remember to add right away, capital N, capital N. Now, some people are raising their hands and say, hey, Barry, sure, fun's only spelled with 3 letters. Not in our world. World of positive, purposeful, powerful, planet spelled F-U, capital N, capital N. Do that, you get people's attention. Then you can share with them the great insights that you're going to learn. So before we bring on Cris, I want to urge everybody to use the 2 most powerful words in the English language 3 times a day from now and the rest of your life. You'll be happier, healthier, and wealthier. And these 2 words are thank you, thank you, thank you. Thanks stands for to harmonize and nurture kindness. Kind is a very special word. Stands for keep inspiring noble deeds. I can't think of anybody that inspires noble deeds more than wonderful, amazing man himself, Cris Beswick.
I've never been called the amazing Cris before. That's my new title.
This is so much fun. Cris hails from and is living in London, England. So again, we love it when we have people from all over the world. And we are just engaged in something that's going to really be of huge benefit. We're doing a lot of B words today. Huge benefit to everybody. Beneficial, beneficent, bountiful, blooming, blossoming Cris. So Cris, by the way, if I told everybody about all the things that you've accomplished in the business world, it would take the rest of the show. I am going to highlight 3 things. One of them is that you have over a quarter of a century of extensive experience as a founder, a tech entrepreneur, board advisor, and an investor. So you know about money and how to run things. You also are, these days, thank God, globally recognized authority on innovation. You have a great book called Building a Culture. This is crucial. First of all, building, that's a B word. Culture, it's very important. It's internal to everybody in the team of innovation. And then I also want to mention another B word. We'll talk about it a bit because I think it's quite important. Burnout.
Yes.
Burnout, because we are dealing with people, just Cris, 88% of the audience, and it's worldwide. It is really worldwide, from Abu Dhabi to Bhutan to literally the Congo and all over the world. People are listening, and they're under 35. And everybody's out there wanting to do and grow and make and happen. And, well, burnout exists. We don't want to begin with that. Let's begin with your great contribution to the business world, the great I word, innovation.
Yes.
So it's yours, wonderful, amazing Cris.
Yeah. So look, innovation fundamentally is about making the world a better place, right? And I think, in my experience, a lot of organizations and a lot of leaders have forgotten that innovation is fundamentally about making the world a better place. Yes, it's about money, and it's got to be about growth, and it's got to be about, increasing the success of an organization. But I think the word has been chopped up and like misused and devalued so much, certainly over the past 10 or 15 years. I think we've forgotten what innovation fundamentally is about. And it's about change. It's about solving problems. It's about creating things so that people have better experiences or products or services. And fundamentally, it's exactly what your show says on the tin. It's about making the world a better place. And the only reason that I still do what I do is because I believe that if I can get more organizations around the world to genuinely build innovation capability and build it into their culture, collectively, that will make the world a better place.
Okay, so we're in the B world, building better.
Yes.
Build back better. So let's talk about, there's a great phrase in the business world about change. And it goes like this: change is great. You go first.
Yeah. Yeah.
People fear change, don't they?
Yeah.
Especially, by the way, in quotation marks, business leaders, the people you would think that would want to go out there and really try and do things and innovate and beat change, they seem to be, again, in limited experience compared to you, a little more reticent than you would think they want to be. They should be leading the charge, and yet they seem to hold back. Is that correct?
Yeah.
You see that?
Yeah, 100%. But look, let's go back, like, I don't know what, 100 years, 120, 130 years. Think about where management and leadership came from. I don't mean leadership in terms of running countries and kings and emperors and things like that, but leadership in the business context. Think about Henry Ford and stuff like that. The very, very first production lines were the very first factories and things like that. And what did we get when that was created? We got this birth of management, right? And of team leaders and production managers and things like that. Now, imagine this, whatever it was, 120 years ago, you're now a manager, in inverted commas, on a production line. What are you mandated to do? Don't take any risks. Don't stop production. Make sure that production line keeps going without any faults, because if the production line stops, we won't meet our quota. We can't have any injuries. Health and safety wasn't as big as it is now, but everything from a management point of view was designed to make sure that it minimized risk and it maximized production and output. We haven't changed in 100 years. So look at now what we see in big organizations. Managers and leaders are conditioned and have been conditioned not to take risk, not to try and change things too much for fear of reducing production, errors, all of that costs money. We have to completely change how we look at leadership if we're going to shape the future.
Woo! So I want to unpack a few things here. I am a student of history, and I'm very glad you brought up Mr. Ford specifically and production line and his plant, which was called Rouge River. It was, I don't know the exact dimensions. It was one of the largest covered structures in the world when it was finished. And when he got to production, they were rolling off the line some enormous number of cars every day. However, there were two things that he was very innovative about. Number one was that he didn't pay the least in the world. He paid the most. He hired people and paid them more than anybody else in America. They were earning a good wage. He understood that. And he also empowered his higher managers to ask what we'll call lower managers, other people, what can we do to maximize production? And
Yeah.
and so what you pointed out here is quite important. The mindset became minimize risk, constraint, and yet really what business is about is growth.
Absolutely.
And the way to serve people better. Service is the greatest word in the world, isn't it?
Yeah, but look how, so I think a lot of organizations as well, to your point, they've forgotten who they serve, right? They've forgotten that the customer that spends money with them, right? They are in service of those customers. They're not in service of the shareholders. You know, they might be beholden to them, but the people that put money in the bank are customers. And I think a lot of organizations have fundamentally forgotten that the proximity that you need to have a relationship with the people that you serve. And the closer you get, the more you know about them, the more you understand what they want and what problems they have and what opportunities there are, the more you can innovate and the more you can do stuff for them. And we've fundamentally forgotten that because the world's become more complex.
So let's use some names if you can. People love names and drop names. Some of the organizations that you've worked with where you've been introducing your wonderful, not just ideas, profit-oriented, service-oriented processes that will cause innovation. And the companies actually said, Cris, not only do we agree with you, we're going to do it.
Yeah.
Just one or two examples, please.
Yeah. So first, I would just tweak some of that language. If a client says to me, Cris, we want you to come in and we just want you to help us make more profit, go call the next guy, right? I think really it's about organization. It's about growth of that organization, not purely just about profit. Because profit just means how do we sell more and how do we strip cost out so that we drive bottom line, you know. I think it's fundamentally what I help organizations do is grow. Now, yes, that might mean grow in terms of revenue, but it has to mean grow in terms of an organization, right? So it's got to mean the growth of, yes, turnover and revenue, but also people and impact and all of those things. So I've worked with clients like this. I mean, there's quite a few I can't mention. A lot of my clients I'm under NDAs and things like that. The clients that I've worked with for the past 2-3 years out in the Middle East, I can't mention them. But I've worked with airlines globally. I've worked with manufacturing organizations. I've worked in the pharma industry with companies like Roche and Novartis. I've worked with banks like RBI, like Raiffeisen Bank, which is a European bank, ING, huge, like every kind of different organization and client in every sector. I've worked for the government in the UK. I've worked in the defense industry in the UK. So I've worked in every different sector, public and private. And fundamentally, do you know what most clients say? Well, Cris, we're a little bit different, you know, because, you know, we're a bank and the last company you worked for was a global pharmaceutical brand. And the reality is, but you employ people, right? But like that's, right. You get things done on a day-to-day basis because your employees are human. They're people, right? Yeah, they are. Then we're talking about the same thing. Culture, people, leadership, relationships, empathy, curiosity. It doesn't matter whether you're a bank or a car manufacturer or a pharma company. It's all about people and culture.
Woo! Okay, on that high note, well, we have people and businesses that sponsor the show to love us, and we wouldn't have them on if we didn't think they're worthy of your time. We're going to be right back with this amazing, bountiful, beloved, beneficent, people-oriented Cris right after this brief message. Don't go away.
Hello, skincare connoisseurs. If you think you have tried everything in skincare, you are going to love what I am about to tell you. I'm pharmacist Benjamin I. Fuchs. I'm a dermatology pharmacist. And what I've discovered in my compounding pharmacy after decades of working with patients with skin traumas and skin diseases is the missing link in skincare is topical essential nutrition. And because of this missing link, we're not maximizing the potential of topical skincare. We're leaving skin beauty and skin health on the table. And that's why I formulated my Truth Treatments. Listen, the skin's an organ. It needs and wants and craves nutrients, vitamins, minerals, amino acids, fatty acids, and plant-derived minerals, and now it can get them in super high concentrations in my Truth Treatments. Originally formulated for dermatologists and their patients, now they're available to you. Check them out today at truthtreatments.com, and I know you are going to love the truth.
Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved immortal beings, and good-looking people. You're good-looking, so there's a lot looking for and finding the good. Our cup runneth over with good. His name is Cris Beswick, and he is all about making a difference and doing it through service and recognizing that the most important aspect of every single business is the human interaction. Who is it that makes that growth possible? The customer, the one who makes a decision to say, he or she says, yes, I will give you my hard-earned money for your product or service. And now I expect, I'm saying these words, that you're going to treat me in the way that I want to be loved. Matter of fact, you use these wonderful words, very soft words. You know, we're talking about business, and now you're talking about love. Okay, yeah. Cris, how do they work in tandem without getting too squishy and still maintaining that beautiful process called growth and realizing profit and benefit for everybody?
Do you know what? There's one of the sad things about the world we live in is most organizations are still run by people like me, right? White, 50-odd-year-old, gray-haired men. If we could only address on a global basis, like the gender balance in the boardroom and with CEOs, then the word love would be so much more common part of our businesses. Do you know one of the most inspiring people that I know, right, is a lady called Claude Silver, and she. Especially your American viewers, but people around the world may very well know Gary Vaynerchuk, owns VaynerX and VaynerMedia, right? Claude is his number 2, right? If we had her on and Gary will say she has been instrumental, not about him as the face of it. She is instrumental in the success of his businesses. Do you know what her title is? The Chief Heart Officer.
Oh, CHO.
The Chief Heart Officer, right? And what they fundamentally understand is people and culture and relationships, and genuinely, how do we untap the superpower of all our employees, right? They understand that better than any company I know on the planet. And I'm not saying there aren't other companies out there that do, but I just don't know them. She understands how to build organizational culture better than anyone I've ever met on the planet. And I have a mantra that I talk about with execs and leadership teams. I think there's 3 really powerful words that we don't use enough in business. So imagine this as a Venn diagram. In order to really, really build phenomenal organizations, everyone in our organization needs to love what we do and why we do it, right? They have to absolutely love what we do and why we do it, because that means our purpose is so compelling that they love they're in love with what we do, right? And the way that we go about delivering against that purpose is so compelling that they then love why we do it and how we do it. The second thing then externally is the word desire. The people that we serve, our customers, we need to build products and services, and the way that we deliver those products and services, the experience that we create, should mean that our customers not only want or need what we have and what we provide, they should desire it, right? It should be so compelling to them that they literally go, well, I could buy that one and I could buy that one, but God damn it, I've got to have that. Right? That's what we strive for in organizations. That's utopia.
Pause
right?
for a moment. I need to put you on pause for a moment. It's very tempting to take notes and write everything down. I urge everybody, don't. Put your pens down, just lean in and listen and experience, let it flow. The reason we have this, and it's recorded, is so you can go back again the second time, and you control the time, and you can write things down, you can listen, you can pause. Then, of course, if you're really smart, you go back and listen a third time, and you'll internalize it, utilize, and leverage. So I urge you, please, it's tempting to write it down, the Venn diagram, the why, the desire. Just experience, Cris.
Remotely, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah, because my wife might have an issue with that. Yeah.
You know, Mrs. B might have a little bit of a blinking eye.
Listen, I've got her shirt on today. I've got the shirt with the bees on. So
right. So we have why. We have desire.
Yeah, right. And then there's one final thing. Envy. Our job as leaders, and my job with the executive teams that I work with, is to try and use innovation as a capability and a part of culture to build these three things. If we build really innovation-led organizations, like genuinely able to innovate, then we build organizations that enable our people to do what they actually really, really want to do. Most people don't just want to come to work and turn up to work and do a job. Most people see problems and opportunities and issues with customers, and they want to be able to solve them, right? If you talk about engagement and, what motivates people and what's, all the statistics, all the research, it's not money so far down the list. The core thing that most employees want to do is to be able to do a brilliant job for customers, right? And we use innovation as a capability to enable them to do that. When we do that, we get the love, right? We build organizations where our HR team don't say, how are we going to recruit the next generation of talent? Or, hey, we're losing that are the best people. How are we going to retain them? Like that box is ticked. You build an organization based on innovation and culture and being able to properly solve problems and change things. People will want to stay, and the next generation of talent will want to come and work for you. When you do that, you then get desire. And the final thing is, you then get every single one of your competitors. The final word is envy. Because you then get every single one of your competitors going, how the hell are those guys doing that? Like, how are they?
They might even shift, keep that F in place. They might shift their world. And now we're really building a world where we're creating what I call a tsunami of goodness.
Totally. Yeah. Totally agree.
I want to add something, if I may.
Of course.
On this beautiful Venn diagram, these three, or we call it a triangle, it's all built on the T word. Because this is what I think you've injected here. Trust.
Totally.
Trust.
Yep.
Everybody from we'll call it the day worker to the highest paid executive understands and loves the organization so much, they trust each other.
Yes. Yeah. And fundamentally that at the root cause of that's a leadership issue.
Ooh, right? Let's talk. First of all, by the way, you inspired me. I created an acronym because I love acronyms. We talked about unlocking the power and the secrets of everyday words and terms. So we have I created this out of what you've been telling me, the word lace. Now,
Okay.
lace is usually something very soft and gentle, right?
Mm.
Lace stands for love,
Yes.
awareness,
Yep.
curiosity,
Yep.
empathy.
Yeah. Right. So let's go. Let's do leadership, right?
Let's do leader.
2 core things that leadership needs in abundance if you need to build innovation, and especially if you need to build a culture of innovation. Empathy, without question, right? Radical candor, honest conversation, honest feedback, honesty in terms of, hey, do you know what? I'm the boss. I'm a senior executive. I'm one of the board members, but do you know what? I make mistakes too, right? And genuine empathy-driven leadership. And without that, you don't get trust, right? And one of the core things that a lot of my work is about with leadership teams is going back to your original point about that minimizing risk, is shifting leaders to start being curious. Because when they're curious, they then go, hey, okay, what does that look like over there? Let's go and try some of that. Let's run a little experiment. Let's go and explore over there. And when you're curious and you're then open as a leader to start taking being a bit exploratory, then you start to shift your perspective on risk. And then you go, okay, let's go and try something. And when we try, we fail, and then we learn. And when we learn, we grow as a leader, as an organization. So curiosity, empathy, 2 massive components of what leading for innovation requires.
I'm whirling and thinking about several interesting people all at once that I'm sure you've either been involved with or like their work and such like that.
Yeah.
One of them is Simon Sinek.
Yeah.
Who talks about, like you did the first innovation part you mentioned about the why.
Yeah.
Why? We don't just, like talked about Apple. We don't just sell a better computer, because in fact it may not be.
Mm.
Why would somebody talk about desire and
exactly that?
What? I want that iPhone. I want that Apple product. I don't want a computer. I want that.
Yeah. There are cheaper alternatives to iPhones, right? That do fundamentally the same thing. But what do people do? They want they don't necessarily need it. If it's purely about communication, there are thousands of phones which are cheaper. That if it's just a case of, I need to be able to phone my mum once a week, there's 1,000,001 phones you could buy, right? But it's not. Desire means, yeah, but I want that one.
And they built that into the culture. The other thing I'm going to share with you, a wonderful story. I live now in a place called Henderson, Nevada. So if I say Henderson, it doesn't mean anything to anybody. If I say Las Vegas, people lean in. Okay. So
I got married in Vegas. I did. My wife got married in Vegas.
Did you really?
We did, yeah.
It's an amazing place. It's a place of energies. So I'm going to give you a wonderful story about a man named Steve Wynn. Now, Steve Wynn is these days synonymous with Las Vegas. I mean, so many great properties and such. He was so smart and so innovative that he invested, and he wrote this in a book and on an interview that I heard with him, that he invested 2 months of doing just the following. He went to every single employee. He was going to open up the Bellagio. Before he did that, he went to every single employee at the Wynn, every single employee, from the person who handles towels to the valet to the higher ups, and one-to-one asked them, what do you like the most about our organization? And what do you think we can do better?
Wow.
Isn't that a wow?
Yeah, but listen, organizations around the world will say, yeah, but we've done that. And what they mean is they've sent an employee survey out.
Right. And that's what I'm telling you. Yeah. He went eyeball to eyeball, Chris, toe to toe, nose to nose, and he built empires.
Yes, amazing.
On the way. See, well, we're doing here, and people are leaning in and saying, well, Cris, yeah, that's okay. It's easy for you to say about love. I'm going to ask you to speak about your burnout.
Yeah.
That puts it in perspective.
Sure.
You've been through stuff. Let's be blunt.
Yeah.
You talk about love and awareness and curiosity and empathy. That's great because you got there. You had to go through the test of fire, didn't you?
Yeah. The sausage machine, as I call it. Yeah. You put the meat in the sausage machine and you turn the handle and, it comes out right. Well, luckily I went through the grinder and luckily I came out the other side. Most people don't, right? Yeah. So that's a pretty dark point, that is a pretty dark point in my life, but it's been super, super, super valuable. Right. And it's really odd to say if I would I go, I'm glad I went through that. So the context for everyone that's listening was, I was an entrepreneur at quite an early age, and literally dived into entrepreneurship, into building companies super, super quick. And I dived in feet first, 1,000 miles an hour. And what I realized was, being an entrepreneur and being a CEO and all of that, everyone might look at that and go, oh, that must be amazing. Top of the food chain, you're the CEO. Think about how much money you're earning, the notoriety, the fame, all of that. It's all great until it isn't. So I basically built a brilliant group of companies. I had a brilliant team, but I was desperately unhappy. Everyone else was super happy. The external lens was, wow, look at Cris. The nice house, the cars, the holidays, all the trappings of success. Internally, I was so depressed and so unfulfilled, but in my head, I had to continue on the treadmill because now I was responsible for all of this external environment, people with families and mortgages and all of that. And it's not over dramatic to say that if I hadn't have caught that, we wouldn't be having this podcast. And that's not over dramatic. It is a truth. The trajectory that I was on was only going one way. So, that burnout as an executive, if you don't catch it, affects the collateral damage is massive. It affects your family. It affects your friends. It affects your partner. So it cost me the relationship that I had at the time. And those effects don't just go away quickly, right? There's a lasting effect. I can't tell you. So I'm overweight now, right? Listen, I'm only like 34, 35, right? It's hit me really early, right? But I was working at such a pace under such intense pressure to build this empire that I thought I had to build. I didn't see the negative side of all that pressure, and it just crept up on me.
And let me interrupt.
Yeah.
And there was no Cris Beswick around, buzzing around your being, saying, hey, I can show you a better way.
No.
There was no Cris. The world needs Cris.
Yeah. Yeah. Now because I'm here, right?
And you're not overweight anymore.
No. So look, I'm overweight. I'm drinking. I'm staying in hotels because my relationship's on the rocks. So I was finding every excuse not to go home, all of that. And here's what happened. I'm not a religious person in any way. I have no issue with religion. I have dozens of friends around the world who are super religious. But I don't say, God intervened or whatever, but I'm walking back. This is not premeditated. I'm walking back to my hotel. And I remember this vividly, right? I remember this literally like it was yesterday. My hand went in my pocket. I pulled out my phone. I called my co-director on the phone, and he was called Cris as well. And I literally said these words, Cris, I'm out. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I need to go and do something else. I'm out. And I hung the phone up. That phone call saved my life.
Okay. Everybody's on the edge of the seats. Cris is coming back. We have these beautiful, really good sponsors. We urge you to consider them. And we need to hear the rest of the story. Be right back in this brief message. Don't go away.
What if you could shop at your favorite local stores, swipe your current credit card, and get extra cashback rewards? And what if you could also have donations sent to your favorite cause at no extra cost to you? What if this amazing program was absolutely free and very simple to set up? Well, What If is here. Welcome to Einstein Cares, where your everyday shopping gives you and your favorite cause extra money. It's fast, it's easy, and effortless.
Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved immortal beings, and good-looking people. If you're good-looking, you're always looking for and finding the good. He found good in abundance. Is Cris B. He is wearing his B shirt, and he's telling us about his beautiful life, bountiful, magnificent, burnout. He picks up the phone, and he tells his co-director, Cris, I'm out. He hangs up.
Done.
Multi-millions of dollars on the line, hundreds and hundreds of employees, families. What is going to happen with Cris and Burnout? Is he going to die, or is he going to rise up like the phoenix? What happened, Cris?
The phoenix rose very, very slowly, but it rose. So, do you know what? That was the instant weight gone. Instant, just gone. Now, I don't know what I'm going to do at this point, because I've basically just gone, my income stopped, my business has gone, everything that I've worked for, like, what am I going to do? But I didn't go back to the hotel and sit there and go, oh dear, what have I just done? What am I going to do? I literally went, ah.
And I hope you said thank you to something. Or
to my, yeah. I mean, do you know what? It would be, I would actually feel better if I had someone to thank. If someone had intervened and gone, Cris, I've seen you need help, and come and talk to me because you're not right. That would be better, because I could then go, hey, Barry, you saved me, right? You intervened. You saw something wasn't right and you intervened. And I think, and I see this now with execs that I work with, I see it in some of the companies. And the one thing that really would have made a difference for me was someone going, hey, Cris, are you all right? No one. Do you know what? I've come off a phone call this morning with a very, very good friend of mine. And if she listens to this, she will know what this is about. She will know this conversation. I think I'm seeing in a friend of mine whose wife I was on a call with earlier, I think we are both seeing that in him.
And you're going to be able to be of help. And
yeah, because the first thing I'm going to do is email him. And I said this day, I said, right, let me email him. We're going to go for a drink. We're not talking about work. We're going to go for a bottle of wine somewhere. And we're just going to have an off the record chat, because that would have been so fundamentally important to me at that time. And I can see it in other people. Having been through it, I can spot it a mile away. We don't talk about this as specifically as men, and I'm not alienating women. I'm just saying as men in corporates, like I say, that stereotypical, you know, middle-aged, gray-haired, white male who are the predominantly in boardrooms around. We don't talk about this because we think it's weakness. It's a superpower to go, hey guys, I need a bit of help.
So the ability to cause this, again, shift.
Yeah.
You got to keep your F's in place so the other stuff happens. Without the F in place and shift, you know what that is, right?
Yeah.
So you got to keep that with that. It's just a slight shift in perspective to be able to recognize it's not weakness, it's the superpower.
Yeah.
Oh, and Chris,
empathy is a superpower, right? The ability for leaders to go, hey, do you know what, guys? I'm really sorry. I got that bit wrong. Those are so powerful in leadership roles, but we've been conditioned because of modern management development and training to say that, oh no, you are the leader. You can't communicate like that. You can't tell people you've got something wrong. You must have all the answers. And this is just one part of it, right? You have to be vulnerable as a leader. And sometimes that vulnerable is actually really, really, really obvious.
Because that's where let's go back to the I word. That's where the innovation.
That's where innovation happens.
That's where the light can shine, and not only shine in, but allow it to be shining out. That's the genius of innovation. Isn't that correct?
Absolutely. And that's how we make the world a better place.
Woo! Because that's what we're here about. By the way, I did create a short acronym for your name. May I give it to you?
Absolutely.
Cris, CRIS, creating resilient innovation succeeds.
Ooh, I like it.
Well, that's what you are. That's what I gave it to you. It came out from you. So I am fascinated by the leader word, the leadership. And again, loving words and such. So the same letters that spell leader spell the word dealer. So for me, a leader is a dealer in hope.
Yeah.
And hope stands for helping others progress every day.
Do you know what? That is superb, because the whole point of leadership is my job as a lead. You know, if I was in a corporate, my job as a leader is to make every one of those people that I'm supposedly leading better than they were yesterday.
Yes.
That's my job. That's it.
By the way, and that is, in my humble experience, rarely, if ever, either expressed or understood.
Yeah.
Usually the leader thinks, oh, it's on me to make sure that everybody does their job. And you just reshaped it, Cris.
Yeah. Hey, let's just address this though, right? Yeah. This isn't, we're not bashing everyone in a leadership role around the world, right? Absolutely like not. Most of the people that I work with, most of the people in leadership roles, they want to be able to lead like this. They want to be able to do that. They want to be able to build these kinds of cultures. The reality is, contemporary, like the leadership development and training that they've had over the past 10, 20, 30 years just hasn't prepared them for the world that we live in now and the cultures that we need in our organizations to be able to shape the future. So it's not that they don't want to, they just haven't been given the tools. And my job is to, you know, not just me, there's thousands of people around the world that are way better at this than me. But our job as people that go into companies like that is just to give them the tools to be able to lead in that way. That's all. We're just catalysts, really, people like me.
Okay, when you have the tools, you have at least the opportunity, the chance to do what you said, to be of greater service. Again, if service becomes the watchword, then how can I, as the leader, serve better? I want to serve my team. I want my team to serve the person we're interacting with, the customer, as you said so wonderfully. I'm going to share with you a quick story and like your comment on it. When I was 9 years old, I was raised in a place called Boston, Massachusetts. Boston, Massachusetts is named for a city in England called Boston. So in Boston, Massachusetts, in the wintertime, it gets cold and snow. And when I was growing up, which is more than 70 years ago, so we didn't have the internet or anything like that. Sometimes we have a real snowstorm, 10, 12 inches or so, and you listen to the radio, call school off. Yay, okay. What are you going to do? You either go back to sleep, you're going to play games, or just hang around. Not me. So I'm 9 years old. I'm innovative. I'm on the floor, and I get bundled up, gloves, long underwear, muffs, and I'm going to go out. I'm going to shovel snow because even though school's called off, people need to go to work. So I would go out there at 7:15, 7:20 in the morning and tell you one particular story. And I go knocking on doors and negotiate a price and do shoving. I worked very hard. I would come back, let's say, at 5:20 at night, and it was already dark. And I had made $55 in a day.
Nice.
Put it in perspective, my allowance was 25 cents.
Yeah.
And $55 is huge amount of money. Even look it up, go back 65, 70 years. Here's the point. My father was making me a cup of hot chocolate. He said to me, "My dear beloved son," he used to like using those words. "My dear beloved son, how do you spell the word business?" So I'm 9 years old. I'm smart. I'm freaking clever, right? I spell it B-U-S-I-N-E-S-S. He said, "That's right. I want you to notice something. Notice that the U comes before the I. Whenever
very
you
nice.
go out and you're doing business, you take care of all the other people, the I will always be taken care of."
Yeah.
Now, I was 9 years old. It took me 25 years to internalize. So like you're saying, when you go out there and you're of service, and that's the orientation for every single member of the culture. Everybody, from the person, the valet, the towels, this one, that, whatever they're doing is to be of service. The I will always be taken care of in any role. Am I correct?
Totally agree. Yeah, I totally agree. Absolutely.
Isn't that beautiful? That's my father. It was,
yeah.
And that's what you're doing here. You're bringing to the corporate world, that world of those polished big tables and those soft, cushy chairs where people sitting there and looking at one thing only. "Okay, Chris, get through this stuff because we had to hire you because that's, we got to check off that box." And you're coming in to say, "I'm here to disrupt everything."
Yeah.
With love.
Yeah. If do you know what, if there's any sense of, "Hey, Chris, we brought you in because we need to tick a box," straight in the front door, straight out the back door, I'm gone.
Right.
Not
and
interested.
The ones that listen, here's the key. I want everybody to hear this. The ones that listen and embrace and bring it in, guess what happens? They're all wearing bee shirts.
Yes.
Because what's the whole point of a bee? A bee pollinates. A bee goes around everywhere being of service, right?
Yes. One of the most important little tiny animals in our ecosystem.
Well,
I've just realized you've got boats on your shirt, so you've got a bee shirt on.
Because we got boats, and we got bees, and we're sailing, and we're there, and we're doing good in the world. The ability to do well and to do good is what Chris has been talking about here. My dear beloved Chris, I'm loath to say the words I'm about to say. We're coming to a close on our time together for this session. I have 3 quick questions for you. You ready?
Go for it.
Number 1, will you come back again?
Without any hesitation.
Woo! Thank you. Dear Mr. Cris Beswick, Mr. B, you have 80 seconds only to answer this question. I think I know most of it, but I'd like to hear from you. You have 80 seconds only. What is your most fervent desire?
Wow. Do you know what? I have 2 beautiful daughters. They are 11 and 12 at the moment. My main desire is, how do I continue doing what I'm doing so that even just in the smallest way, I make the world a better place for the life that they've still got? Even if it's just the tiniest bit of improvement in the world, in whatever sense, then yeah.
That's a man that is driven by a vision. And number 3, may I give you a hug in front of 521,917 people around the world?
My wife is not watching, so hug away.
Let me tell you what HUG stands for so you can share with your wife and your 2 daughters. You ready? HUG stands for heartfelt, unlimited giving.
Love it.
1, 2, 3.
That was a full-on bear hug. I like those.
You're listening to The Joy of Living, the humble host, Barry Shore, the ambassador of joy, and with our amazing guest, wonderful Cris Beswick. And I want to urge everybody to understand something. This show is not about Cris, great guy that he is, or about Barry, what a fellow. It's about you. Y-O-U, you becoming the best you, because when you become the best you make the world a better place. You build more bridges of harmony, create more joy, happiness, peace, and love. Remember, we discuss the three fundamentals of life. Number one, life, your life has purpose. You lead a purpose-driven life. Number two happens, you make a difference. You go mad. And number three is to unlock the power and the secrets of everyday words and terms. WWW, what a wonderful world. Smile, seeing miracles in life every day, as my 8-year-old niece says, seeing miracles in everyday life. Create the kind of world you want to live in, causing rethinking, listen to Cris, causing rethinking, enabling all to excel. And use 4-letter words. Remember, the 4-letter words we use to live in the world are positive, purposeful, powerful, pleasant. Are love, life, hope, free, give, play, pray, swim, and tell the world to F you. Capital N, capital N. To have a twinkling eye, smile on your face. You do that, you get people's attention. Say, what did you learn? Where did you get that? I know this is the Barry Shore, The Joy of Living. He had on Cris B, and he was talking about empathy and love and curiosity and awareness. And it works. That's the best news. It works. So use the 2 most powerful words in the English language 3 times a day, and you'll start seeing the results. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So from Cris and Barry, a blessing to all of you. Go forth, live exuberantly, spread the seeds of joy, happiness, peace, and love. Go mad. Go make a difference. Cris, don't go away.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Joy of Living podcast. Now that's another step towards your healthier, happier, and wealthier life. Never hesitate to do good in the world, no matter what the situation. Join us for another upbeat discussion next time at barryshore.com. And be sure to leave a rating and subscribe to the show to get more conversations like this. And remember to share it with your family and friends too. See you on the next episode.